who are able to maintain homeostasis. Homeostasis means maintaining constant temperature and osmotic concentration. So, evolutionary biologists, they have told that success of mammals is due to their ability to maintain constant body temperature. As I told you, explained you that birds and the mammals, they are and the human beings, we are able to maintain a constant body temperature, and that is the success of evolution process. Because in the process of the evolution, you can find out the vertebrates. These are all the groups which are last in the process of evolution. And why they are able to success, they are able to survive or they are able to reproduce, because they are able to maintain a constant internal environment. For example, suppose you take the human beings or the mammals. When there is summer, then we are sweating, and in the process of the sweating, the body temperature cool down. Similarly, in the winter also, there is the shivering in extreme low temperature is there in outside environment, and by the process of the shivering, when heat is generated, then the body temperature, so that is maintained. So that is the success of conformer. Then the next group of the animals, that is the success of regulator. Then the next group of the animals, so that is the conformer, and 99% of the animals and the plants, they cannot maintain constant body temperature, because most of the living organisms, they are not able to maintain homeostasis. So that means as the change is going on in the surrounding, there should be change in the body temperature or in the amount of the fluid which is there in the body, and if there is no change, then they cannot survive in that particular environment. So those kind of the organisms, they are called conformer. For example, in the aquatic organism, concentration of the body fluid change with surrounding water concentration. As I have told you that if a freshwater fish, so that is taken to marine sea or the water, then the fish will not be able to survive. Similarly, the fish which is there in the marine water, that will not be able to survive in the cold water, in the fresh water. So that is because of the change in the osmotic concentration, because they have to maintain an equilibrium with the surrounding. So thermoregulation is energetically expensive for many organisms. With thermoregulation means regulating temperature, and for the regulation of the temperature, there is requirement of the energy. So small animals, they are not found in the polar area. Why? Because the heat loss, this is an important question. Heat loss or the heat gain, so that is related to the area. If the area will be more, then the heat loss or the heat gain will be more. And if the area will be small, then it will be small. So the small animals, they are having larger area in comparison to the volume of the body. So if there will be more amount of the heat, so that will be lost from the body, then they will not be able to survive in the polar area. So in polar area, small animals, they are not safe. What is adaptation? Adaptation is any attribute of the organism that enables the organism to survive and reproduce in its habitat. I have explained you that there is no guarantee that the environmental conditions will only be favorable. Organisms, they survive even in unfavorable conditions also. So you can find out somehow they are making adjustment, either by making morphological modification, or by the physiological modification, or by behavioral modification. They are able to survive and reproduce even in that extreme habitat also. So all the example, whatever I will explain, these you will get as separate question in both exams. 2 marks question, reasoning question you will get. So you have to remember each and every example which is given here in your book. The first example, so that is a kangaroo rat. Kangaroo rat, so that lives in desert. And you know that in desert the climatic conditions, so that is not favorable. There is scanty water is available and the temperature is also very high. So how the kangaroo rat is able to survive in desert? So, and meeting the requirement of the water, number one is the oxidation of the fat. When fat is oxidized, then water is liberated as a byproduct, and that water can be used by the body. Second point is that the urine is concentrated. You know that when we pass urine, then some amount of the water, so that is also expelled from the body. If the urine will be dilute, then more amount of the water will be expelled. And if the urine is concentrated, then less amount of the water is expelled. So by excreting concentrated urine, there is conservation of the water. So you have to write down 2 points if you get a question. Now second example, so that is how the desert plant, they are able to survive in desert conditions, because there are plants in normal plains. You can find out where the conditions are favorable. The plants, they are different. They are mesophytic plants, and the plants which are there in desert, these are called xerophytic plants. And in xerophytic plants, there are many morphological adaptations by which the plants, they are able to survive in desert. So number one is the thick cuticle on leaf surface. Leaf, you know that leaf is having the outermost layer which is called epidermis. So there is one upper epidermis and one lower epidermis. In desert plant, surrounding the epidermis there is another layer which is called cuticle. And this layer, so that is made up of wax. Wax cannot allow evaporation of water, so it is preventing evaporation of the water and helping the plants to conserve water. Second point is CAM pathway. You know that plants, they prepare food by the process which is called Calvin cycle. So the normal land plant or the mesophytic plant, Calvin cycle is operating. But the plants which are growing in desert, there is another pathway operating which is called either C4 pathway or CAM pathway. And in this pathway, even if the concentration of the carbon dioxide is low, the plants, they will be able to prepare the food. Third point is the stomata, that is sunken. Sunken stomata means, because generally what happens, on the epidermis, stomata are present in normal plant, normal land plants. But here the stomata, so that is found inside the cavity. And this kind of the stomata, so that is called sunken stomata. And the stomata that is not directly on the same line of the epidermis, so it also prevents evaporation of water. Then leaves are reduced to spines. In xerophytic plants, generally the leaves, they are not present. The leaves, they are modified to spine, and because the area that is reduced, so the spine, they are protecting the plants from grazing herbivorous animals, and also as the area is reduced, the evaporation will be less. Then photosynthetic function is taken by flat stem. Here the stem, they look like leaves, and these are all the flat stem. They are having chlorophyll pigments, and they are preparing the food, and also they are conserving water also. So these are all the modifications which are found in desert plants. Next question is, what is Allen's rule? So if you get the question, you have to write down. Mammals from colder climates have shorter ears and limbs to minimize heat loss. The mammals which are found in cold areas, they are having short ear and short limbs. Why? If the area will be reduced, then the loss of the heat will be reduced, and they will be able to survive in cold areas. The next example is the polar bear, which are also found in very cold area. How they are able to survive? They are having a thick layer of fat below the skin, which is called blubber. And fat is an insulator. It can prevent the loss of the heat, so that they will be able to survive in cold climate. Next example is physiological adaptation. For example, suppose an individual is going to Rohtang Pass, which is near the Mansarovar. So that is at high altitude, and the temperature, so that is also in minus. And the feeling, whatever symptoms will appear, so that is called altitude sickness. So what are the symptoms? Nausea. Nausea means feeling of vomiting. Then the fatigue, tiredness. Then the heart palpitation will be faster, the heart beating will be faster. So these are all the symptoms. Suppose you are going on the top of the mountain at a very high altitude place, then these are all the symptoms which can appear, and all these symptoms together is called altitude sickness. Okay, so how the body is able to physiologically adapt to that climatic conditions? Because you know that at high altitude, availability of oxygen, that is very low. So even in the low availability of the oxygen also, how we are able to survive? By increasing the RBC count. RBC formation will be faster. So more number of the RBC will be produced, and at the same time the heart will start breathing faster. The heartbeat will be faster. So when the heartbeat will be faster, so that means the heart is functioning faster, and decreasing the binding affinity of the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is combining with oxygen, So the binding ability of the hemoglobin will be decreased so that it can bind with less molecule of oxygen. So these are all the adaptation by which an individual is able to survive at the top of the mountain in high altitude place.